Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Saturday, May 28th. So we have the moon in Taurus all day. Things are a little bit slow. We have to get a little bit down to earth, a little bit grounded, focus on the here and now. If you didn't listen to yesterday's forecast, I'm going to recommend you do that. We dive into a little bit more on what the moon in Taurus is all about. Definitely reflecting on Taurus season. And to add to that whole vibe, we actually have Venus, the ruler of Taurus, moving into Taurus, taking her throne, taking her place of power here very early on here today. So we are definitely going to feel the shift. And again, we are a little bit more present, more connected to this present moment in the here and now, connected to our physical bodies, connected to our physical circumstances. This earth energy very much does that. And in Taurus, we are focused on what makes us comfortable, where our stability is at, where our safety is at, where our security is at, in our routines, taking care of ourselves, in our relationships, in our money matters, and of course, we're trying to build, trying to create new elements and foundations in our lives that are going to be around for the long haul. So we have 7 different aspects here today, a relatively quote-unquote quiet day in the cosmos. I say that with a lot of hesitancy because things aren't really quiet these days since the Great Awakening has taken place, since we are getting all of these solar flares, solar blasts from the sun, prepping us through boot camp for the great solar flash coming at us in a couple of years. We are moving through this ascension process very quickly, somewhat filled with a lot of growing pains for many. And I would just hesitate to say that any day is a quiet day in the cosmos these days because we are in uncharted waters. We are in unprecedented times, astrologically speaking, consciously speaking, ascension-wise speaking, evolving speaking. So we got a lot going on. However, today we are going to be a little bit low and slow because of all this Taurus energy. The moon right out of the gate is going to bump into Chiron, who is in Aries energy, in not the nicest way. Reason being, we are having situations, especially in our personal relationships, pop off in order for us to see the true colors of the people that we are choosing to align with. The moon in Taurus bumping into Chiron at this point in time in this way is likely going to disrupt our emotional stability that we've been trying so hard to grasp, to sit in, to hold on to. The moon in Taurus, again, just wants to kind of stick to what is old, tried, tested, and true, what is comfortable, what is familiar, what gives us a sense of safety, stability, peace, harmony, and it is likely that the situations taking place in our exterior realm is going to disrupt all that. And for good reason. We have to be put in a situation where we are uncomfortable, where we are tired of the drama, where we are tired of the pain, the trauma, the suffering, in order for us to make a change. Chiron, being the wounded healer in Aries, trying to highlight for us where our ego identity has taken a blow. Again, reminder, we are reinventing and rebranding ourselves, especially after a lot of loss, a lot of endings, a lot of closure that we've been going through. And the moon popping off with Chiron in this way is going to illuminate for us where the wounds are still alive and well. Why do we have to know that? Well, because we have to feel what it is that we have to heal. And although the moon in Taurus would just prefer to us to crawl up in a ball on the couch or in bed and cozy up to a little movie and taking care of ourselves and just disconnecting from the world, nothing gets solved that way. We do have to have a little bit of an awareness that the situations in our physical circumstances aren't happy. They aren't bringing joy. They aren't cultivating safety and security and stability. And we have to become very aware of that pain, of that trauma, of those wounds in order for us to get a grip on how it is that we're going to fix it, how it is that we're going to heal it. The sun is going to bump into Neptune. Neptune is in its place of power in Piscean energy. The sun, of course, in Gemini. What are we doing here? Well, the sun is trying to illuminate two different choices, two different decisions, two different paths. We have been put in a lot of very difficult situations over the past little bit, especially in retrograde season, which Mercury, the ruler of Gemini season, is currently still retrograde, but now in Taurus energy. We're having to reflect, we're having to review, we're having to look back, especially since probably the beginning of April. A lot of things have popped off, a lot of things have changed, a lot of things have ended, a lot of things have put us in a very difficult position to choose a different path for ourselves. Why? Well, because eclipse season really shook things up, showed us where it is that we were too attached to certain people, places, and things, where it is that we had to free ourselves from these attachments in order to align to a new mission, a new soul's purpose. So we have some choices to make. And as we build towards the new moon in Gemini in just a couple of days, we are going to get that much clearer on the choice points, on the decisions, on the path, on the options that we are currently debating. The sun is trying to show us where it is that we have to either lean one way or the other, and Neptune kind of showing us where it is that we're connecting to our intuition, to our higher self, to our dreams, to our visions. We're kind of leaning into that gut feeling in order for us to grasp what it is that feels right. The minute that we can align with what feels right, what makes us happy, what makes us excited, when we contemplate the dream and the vision that we're looking to manifest, then we can bring it into our focus, to our will, to our illuminated area that the sun is shining a bright light on, for us to bring it into the mental plane that Gemini rules over, so that we can apply logic and practicality to it, so that we can make sense of it, how we can formulate a plan on how it is that we're going to bring some of these dreamy, visionary aspects to life. So we have the moon in Taurus coming up to, sitting next to, bumping into Uranus in Taurus as well. Uranus is the great awakener. He likes to shake us up. He likes to disrupt our lives. He likes to shock us with some truth. He likes to basically throw a wrench into our lives in order for us to open up our mind and see things from a different set of eyes. Uranus has been in Taurus energy for quite some time now, really shaking up and waking up our physical lives, our physical circumstances. Taurus energy rules over our physical bodies, our physical environments, the routines that we have, what we do in the day-to-day life in order to take care of ourselves, to boss ourselves up, to constantly be leveling up. It rules over our relationships. It rules over our resources, our money matters, our skills, our talents, our plans, our goals for the future. So the moon bumping into Taurus right now, the moon in Taurus bumping into Uranus in Taurus right now is a shock to the system, a shock to our emotional field. Now, let me just say this. Uranian energy tends to be visionary. We're constantly looking to the future to gain a vision, to gain a dream on what it is that we want to be living, in order for us to break it down in small, manageable pieces that we have control over in the here and now, that we can start doing something in the here and now to align with that vision that we want to actually bring to life. The moon and this Uranian energy is going to create some anxiety, some restlessness within us. Not even to mention that Venus, the ruler over this Taurus moon, is at its final crisis degree in Aries energy, which is definitely adding to the aggression, to the impulsivity, to the impatience that we're currently feeling as we're waiting for Venus to leave this Aries energy and move into Taurus. The moon in Taurus bumping into Uranus right now could be a total shift of the heart space, of the head space, a new understanding, a new perspective that comes out of some shocking information, some shocking disruptions. We're awakened to a new perspective, awakened to a new want, need, and desire within our heart space. And around this time, although this can feel enlightened, although this can feel like we're having an epiphany, like an aha moment that we can't unknow, it can also feel hella chaotic and crazy because we don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we want. We don't know why this is happening. Just a couple of minutes later, this is when we have Venus move into Taurus. If you have not listened to the astro forecast that I put out for this, please go ahead and do so. I think I ranted for about 20 some minutes on what all this energy is going to do for us. Venus being in her place of power in Taurus is a very strong energy for us. Gives us a lot of life lessons, a lot of blessings. I'm going to recommend that you do the deep dive into that rant so that you have a full understanding, a full perspective on what it is that we're moving into for the next couple of weeks. The moon in Taurus is going to semi-square, add a little bit of pressure, a little bit of tension to Mars. Mars, of course, the masculine energy in Aries in its place of power. Again, may I remind you to check out Mars in Aries astro forecast. We have the divine feminine, divine masculine, both in their places of power, both with the crowns on their head, both sitting in their places of power on their thrones. You best believe that this is going to be a huge dynamic, a huge shift in energy, a huge rebalancing of energies of sorts. The moon in Taurus, semi-squaring Mars, though, does kind of lend us a little bit of frustration because here's the thing. The moon in Taurus wants us to be present in the here and now, in this present moment, in our physical bodies, in our physical circumstances. And all Mars wants to do while in Aries is to take action, make moves, progressively aggress oneself in order to go after what it is that we want. Problem is, we're still in retrograde season. We have a little bit of reflection and review to do before we're actually given the green light go ahead by the universe to start making up for lost time. This means that Mars, although he's rearing to go, the moon in Taurus is pumping those emotional brakes. We have to get solid. We have to get stable in our emotional field. We have to get a vision. We have to get a target. We have to get a goal before we can allow our physical energy, our drive, our passion to allow ourselves to make moves that make sense. We have to be logical and practical and strategic and calculated. Mars doesn't want to do that. Mars wants to just act now and deal with the consequences later. And let me tell you, that is going to get us in some trouble. So this creates a little bit of friction, a little bit of tension, a little bit of frustration, because again, we got one foot on the gas, Mars and Aries. We have the other foot pumping the brake, all this Taurus energy that we're now moving into. The moon in Taurus goes ahead and semi-squares Jupiter, who is in Aries as well. Jupiter is all about growth, all about expansion. He puts a magnifying glass on whatever it is that we're currently thinking and feeling. The problem here is that Jupiter being in Aries wants us to grow, wants us to expand, wants us to overcome the obstacles, the challenges that we faced in the past, not letting the past keep us in a state of paralysis. Constantly pushing the boundary, initiating something new, beginning a new cycle, rising to the challenge, to the obstacles, to the blocks that have been put in our path, that this Aries energy, being the warrior energy spirit of the zodiac, just wants us to cut through. Here's where the tension comes in again. The moon in Taurus just wants to be happy in this present moment, wants to find safety and security and stability emotionally in this present moment. We really don't care to think about the future. We don't care to grow. We don't care to improve at this present moment. We just want to have a sense of peace in the here and now. So again, we have 2 feet on the gas, right? Mars in Aries, Jupiter in Aries, just really pressing that gas down. And we have Venus and the moon sitting on the brake, okay? And then probably we have a couple of other aspects just randomly picking up that parking brake, just really, jolting us. We're in this bucking season where we're trying to move forward, but we're not supposed to move forward right now. We still have lessons of the past that we need to realize and integrate, process fully so that we don't move forward, continuing to make the same mistakes and repeat the same patterns that we did in the past that didn't work out so well. So there's frustration. There's anger, there's irritability. We are feeling, like we want to just close ourselves off from constantly having to think about how we're going to change the future. We just want to enjoy this present moment. And there's silver linings even in the darkest season, and that's what we're looking to do right now. We just want to find a little bit of emotional safety and security in the here and now before we go getting willy-nilly and trying to bring new elements to life. The moon will conjunct, sit next to, bump into the true node, who is also in Taurus. May I remind you, The north node is in Taurus, while the south node is in Scorpio. This is why we're having eclipses for the next, until 2023, on the Taurus and Scorpio axis. What are we learning on the Taurus and Scorpio axis? Well, we're looking to detach, let go, surrender to, put a death to, put an ending to, put a closure to, all the things that we're overly attached to. So the letting go, the death, the transformation that needs to take place is the Scorpio energy. What we're building, what we're creating, what we're giving birth to, new worth, new values, new routines, new relationships, new money matters, is the Taurus energy. The moon, bumping into the true node in this way, is a beautiful opportunity for a brand new cycle to take over, especially emotionally. Now we understand where our values are at. Now we understand what is worth our time, energy, and effort. Now we understand what it is that we're going to pour into. Now we understand our relationships, what we want to do with them. We understand our resources, our money matters, what we need to do with that. We're realizing, although very, very much many of us in a painful way by losing certain aspects, what it is that we need to build in place of the things that have been ripped out of our lives, so to speak. Again, eclipse energy, retrograde energy, really exposing people in our lives for who it is that they are, not who it is that we hoped for them to be. Stripping us down to the truth, where it is that we, again, have been pouring our heart, our soul into aspects, into foundations, relationships, routines, money matters that we're no longer aligned with. And again, now bumping into the true node, we have this revival, this renewal, this aha moment, this destiny point, because that's what the north node is, the destiny point. What are we trying to build? What are we trying to create? This is our future we're thinking about here. And the moon in Taurus, although would prefer not to think too far into the future, is very determined to build, to create, to implement new foundations, relationships, and money matters that are going to stand the test of time. So this particular aspect, again, may I remind you, sounds light and fluffy, but us humans, we like to learn the hard way. So all of the elements that the moon in Taurus would like us to focus on, which is love and worth and beauty and money and all those good things, the safety, the security, the stability, the peace, the harmony, will likely be illuminated to us in where it is that we're lacking all of that in order for us to realize how we're going to build those particular energies, elements, and aspects into our life.